You have no idea. But what's going on, everybody? I hope we're all ready. I'm the one, the only, the WOOKIE. Hopefully everybody comes through with the sound. You guys ready? Everybody ready? Fantastic. We got the guy who's better than you, Cole Robbie.
Yeah, I am the best this episode for sure.
Nothing better than a C- student, Dexter.
Hello, everybody.
And that guy, well, it's Felix.
I'm on a boot.
He's on a boat, or a boot, or a boat. Nobody knows. I am currently trying to get to Baltimore, so we are figuring that out as we go.
Have you not gotten flights
on
yet?
hiatus.
Are you walking to Baltimore?
Yes, I am walking to Baltimore.
Trying to get there?
I have my computer on my back, and I am walking to Baltimore. Did you hear it?
All right, Forrest. Yes, I heard the car passing. It was wonderful.
We're doing a thing today, Cole.
The next 3 weeks. Yeah.
Cole, tell us what we're doing. We're doing a thing today.
Yeah, so I guess nobody understood anything I said. So instead of blaming others, I should realize that the common issue is me. And I guess I need to provide...
Your expectations are too high.
Yeah, yeah, there we go. So in Trial by Frost, we did a spoiler-sode, and it took way too dang long. One episode that went over like 90% of the cards was over 2 hours.
And it was 2 episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we had to finish up with another episode. So for the moment, Felix is sitting in a cupboard for some reason. But for, I guess, the first time, Dexter, are you listening?
I am listening.
Okay.
Here.
So I had each of them, minus Wookiee, I guess, send me their top 5 cards from Whispers from the Maze. I thought this would be an interesting way to give people a breakdown of what cards are most likely going to be prominent or the most played or we think are the best. And I took all of those lists, so mine, Felix's, and Dexter's, and I looked at them on the side. I made sure to do my list before looking at theirs so that I wasn't influenced. And my plan was to talk about the cards that overlap, because if there's a card that was on the top 5 3 different times, obviously that means it's a pretty good card, right?
Yeah, that sounds
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Or we're all bad players.
Well, so this is how it really went, which this will be fun. I picked 5 cards, and I don't want to throw Felix under the bus, but he misunderstood what I said at first and picked cards.
I definitely did, like horribly.
Picked cards not in Whispers from the Maze, and I felt bad.
Exactly. Not a single one.
He put together a nice graphic and everything, and I was like, oh, I meant cards from Whispers from the Maze. So then after...
It took me like 30 minutes. It wasn't so bad.
Yeah, after I got the list from Felix, I did mine, and then I put them all together on a tab, and I went back and I looked at Dexter's, and he does not have 5 at all in any faction. He picked like 2 cards, and in half of the factions, he missed some very good cards, and also just put
No, I
stills.
didn't.
Yes, he did. We're just going to go with
So-
yes, he did.
We're gonna go through the ones that showed up on our lists the most. We're gonna talk about the card for a moment, and then if we have time, we'll have a. What did you type? Requiem?
Yes, because
No.
that happens multiple times.
No, it's not. I did not put Requiem on my list.
But Felix did.
Did Felix put Requiem?
It was a last minute addition, and it went from 5 to like 6
Oh
cards.
shoot! Okay, shoot. You're right. You did. I was looking at your picture.
Doubt
okay.
me.
All right. Requiem.
There was another one
times
as well.
2.
There were 2 cards. It was Requiem and one more.
License
Yeah,
withdrawal.
license withdrawal, and that also is an overlap.
If you're going to update the notes, keep it with the format, bro. Ay, ay, ay. These kids. Anyways, so after we go over the cards and how often they showed up, like Requiem times 2 means that 2 people put it on their list. At the end, if we have time, if we don't take too long, we're going to have like a boss battle or whatever you call it, where each person can pick one more card from each faction to add them to our list, and they'll have like time to argue why this card is great or whatever. All right. Make sense to everybody?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So starting with Axiom, I think this is one of only 2 to 3 cards that we all put on our list. I'm pretty sure it's also on Wookiee's list now.
Of course it is. It's always on my list. Everything's on my list.
Yep. It is the Grems in Axiom.
Oh, yeah.
So who wants to tell us about the Grems?
They're gremlins. Oh, sorry. they're a 2/2 for 1/2/2. Unless it's a rare, then it's a 2/2 for a 2/2/2. You can choose up to 1. Discard targeted permanent with hand cost. Is that 3 or less?
Yeah, 3 or
Okay,
less.
it's a little fuzzy on my screen. Or sacrifice a permanent. If you do, create a brass bug 2/2/2 robot token in target expedition. Yep. The only difference between that and the rare is the rare says you can discard a permanent with hand cost 5 or less.
Yep. And then the rare that's in the Bravos is the same as the common version. Yep. So, but when you're playing it from hand, it doesn't do much from hand because the main ability is only from reserve. But two for a 1/2/2 is perfectly fine. And then when you play it from reserve, you can pick one of those great abilities and get benefits from it.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Did I not say from
good
reserve?
Terminal for you.
I might not have said from reserve.
Yep. And in Axiom, as we know very often, there's a lot of resupplying or putting cards from your hand into reserve. So very good. In Bravos, not as much of that, but then like Dexter said, a 2-cost 1/2/2 from hand, and then having that ability is not bad at all, even in Bravos. Not sure it will see much play just because of the rare slot and then how it's played around, but you never know.
I doubt we'll see much play in Bravos, but it's a great card in sealed or draft if you run that Bravos rare. Or, most Axiom decks I see will probably run the common Grems, I would assume.
Yeah.
So it's a very solid 2/2 cost, which is small and good sized.
The next card in Axiom showed up on 2 of our lists, and that is Tech Lab. And I think Dexter's the one that didn't put Tech Lab because he's a fool. But Felix, you want to tell us about Tech Lab and why?
I first thought you. Okay, so number 1, I totally thought you said Heck Lab, and I'm like, is there an inside joke I don't know? I thought there might have been an inside joke I didn't know. But could we just talk about how cool it is that the gremlins from the Gremlins are in this game? Could we just take a minute and discuss that? Like how dope that is?
You think these are Mogwais?
Well, I mean, at one time they were, but they were clearly fed after midnight and now are gremlins.
I now have a perfect song for this episode.
You could share it with me later, but like, could we just talk about that for a second? Like something I totally like that was not on my 2025 altered bingo card. I don't know if it was on your guys's, but it definitely wasn't on mine.
No.
I appreciate the reference you're making, but to me it just gives me more World of Warcraft vibes. I don't know. I don't think the flavor text is a reference to Gremlins. The flavor text is...
Dude, look at the
demolition.
Look at the Grem on the bottom right. That is the gremlin from Gremlins 2. Eye patch and all. Yes.
Gremlins 2.
He is a man with the quotes, so he knows what he's saying.
The quotes I don't know. Like the quote is not, it's not demolition, but basic recycling, or so they say. I don't know where that quote comes from. But I will that is totally the Gremlins from Gremlins 2, bottom right. They look just like Gremlins. I am now gonna Google, let's see, Gremlin with eyepiece. I'm pretty sure it was from Gremlins 2. That didn't help me. Yeah, maybe it's eye patch.
I'm only finding a gremlin with shiny glasses.
There was definitely a gremlin with an eye patch.
their ears are very gremlin-like, just not color-wise for the most part.
And look at this one. Here you go. This one's even got a chainsaw.
I would not be surprised if they have some inspiration from Gremlin.
Look at that one. He's got a chainsaw and he's got hair.
Oh, is that from Multiverses? That looks like it's from Multiverses.
I have no idea. But these legit are gremlin. I don't know. What are there gremlins in World of Warcraft?
So there's a raid in there's a raid in World of Warcraft that's like steampunky. And it has I forgot what it's called. But the card art just reminds me of that a lot. And then there's always like gremlins and goblins and all sorts of things running.
Whatever. They're gremlins from the Gremlins. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. On to the Tech Foundry, Tech Unit Lab, Tech Lab Unit. Sorry, I'll get there eventually. It's like naming my kids. I'll just shuffle the words till one's right.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to tell us about Tech Lab?
Sure. It's a 3/3 with resupply.
2. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Play me in your landmark zone. I can't gain fleeting. Is its kind of standardized text, and your reserve limit is increased by 1. That's pretty dope. The rare is a 2/2 with a resupply. Same thing. And then this goes over into Lyra as well.
Yeah.
It's the same.
The Lyra thing is going to be really big.
You think so?
In
I'm
Axiom,
not impressed.
I actually am. The amount of times that my reserve always goes over 2 is astronomical.
And Finn, yeah. But still, I don't like
Finn for sure.
Okay, yeah, I see the rare and Lyra getting some play, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would bet a good amount of money that this is gonna definitely see play in both.
I just don't like playing something that doesn't give me immediate stats is the problem. Like especially that 3 cost.
You're playing the wrong game, Dexter.
That's why he doesn't play Waru anymore.
Playing the long game? What is this?
I said wrong.
I must aggro all the way.
But this is definitely
if I'm not aggroing, I don't like it.
This is definitely playing the long game, right? Like planning for the future, right? Like Dexter don't do that.
Nope. I want to win now, fast, get as many points as possible.
You gotta play Hook then.
Great.
Dexter's like, I got shit to do.
Hooked is also very good card, and Felix uses it very well in Lyra.
I always get nervous with permanents because they feel so fragile.
They're less fragile than anything else.
Especially I think this one is good.
One doesn't want to remove it.
I think this one is good for the fact that it does resupply when it comes into play, so it gives you a card by playing it.
Mm-hmm.
The rare one might not see a lot of play in Axiom, maybe in Subash, because you can play turn 1. And Trace, not sure. But I can see maybe the 3 cost one, the common one, even in maybe some really random Rogue Sierra decks, just because it does create a brass mark too.
That common Tech Lab, I think, will get run in a lot of Sierra builds, and that rare Lyra Tech Lab will get run in a lot of Fens, but I don't see any of those being run anywhere else.
I see the rare one in Sabash because he can play a turn 1. You can get a bug and play the Tech Lab too.
You gotta also think about the fact that it's 2 mana to resupply, which is already like your benefit. And for as long as it lasts, you'll have your reserve increased by 1. And
if your opponent does decide to do something to it, then it did its work. It kind of baited a removal to it.
I gotta say, I guess
That's kinda nice
baiting a
too.
removal, not like the worst thing in the world. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
that's good.
Well,
just
the
I
other
always
thing
get a little
is,
nervous.
What a lot of people are going to be looking for even more now is it also satisfies landmark permanent requirements.
That is true. But
So-
and
most
then
axioms are already running these anyways. Or
one
most
of the
axioms are
comments as
already
well.
running permanents and stuff.
Yeah, but
One of the comments,
more
Thinking
you
Dorvin,
get-
he plays a lot of Zubash, and he does play the Bravos Haven, which
Mhm.
does resupply. This would resupply, and you have Frankenstein, which will let you resupply when coming in from reserve 2. So it gives you a lot of
Yeah.
resupply options.
Resupply
Well-
spam is good.
And for uniques have a lot of them have that requirement. So the
Yes.
more ways to satisfy those, the better.
And the
But,
support abilities that let you activate a permanence from anywhere triggers.
Yeah. I just realized it makes more sense to do the additional card argument in each faction. So Dexter, you put Dredger Drone on
Yeah.
your list. Why that one and why not Drill Mole, which is obviously better?
Let me find these cards that you're talking about.
Well, Dredger Drone's a
doesn't even know
2/3
him.
for a 1/2/2. When played from reserve, you can spend one of its boosts to resupply.
Yeah. Because I like the Dredger Drone because, after 2 days in reserve, at noon, it's going to get big. Then you play it for 3. You can spend 1 boost to get a resupply, so you're only paying 3 mana to get a resupply, and, what would that be? 3/5/5 for stats?
3/5/5?
Or 3/4/4 for stats.
Oh, so I
For
see.
3 mana.
You saw that Drill Mole had a 0, so you just didn't even read it.
Probably.
Where is this drill mole?
It's right under Dredger Drone if you're looking at.
Yeah, they're literally right on top of each other. Now, I don't read much French, and that's what the next 2 are in.
I'm pretty sure it says from any card you control, you can spend the boost, but
Compute d'une carte que vos contrôlez ou dans votre réserve pour saboteur.
That's why I didn't pick Dredger Drone, because I couldn't read it.
Couldn't read half of it.
I didn't pick Drill Mole because I can't read half of it.
You're not taking French in college?
Nope, I know 0 French.
I thought it was in Altered.gg.
The full database has not updated yet.
No, but I vaguely remember reading that one in there. And if it wasn't in there, it was in a demo deck.
Yeah, I think it's in the demo deck. We might be able to go to the demo deck and see if I'm right. But okay.
The more I'm reading this, I don't know. I don't want to say this. I'm kind of leaning towards Dexter.
I think you got to read the Drill Mole again.
The Dredger Drone's better.
You may spend one on my boost. Aren't these these are very similar cards? Am I missing? Well, because that lets you sabotage.
It's either resupply or sabotage.
So it's either resupply or sabotage. I guess, is sabotage better than resupply?
No, I like resupply.
I guess sabotage might be better than resupply.
It depends where you are, what axiom deck you're using. It depends, but Dredger Drone does also have better stats. By 1.
Yeah, so
by 1.
Dexter just goes by the stats. Drill Mole is not actually in the demo deck. See, the hard part is you're kind of alone on that, but also Felix is alone on whatever he picked.
Big time.
I don't know if we can add Dredger Drone.
Felix picked Icarus. No?
That's
icky.
I didn't pick Icarus.
All right, we'll have Endorvian, the resident Axiom player, in the live chat. Let us know if Dredger Drone or Driller Mole gets added. Is Drill Mole the one I want to fight for?
Well, why not both?
Because that's the point of the episode.
Well, I mean, you do get 38 cards in a deck. This has got to be better than some of the other Axiom trash that's out there.
You don't get 38 cards in this episode, though.
No, we don't. This is true. That is true. But
that would take years.
All right, Felix. What are you fighting to add to the list? Because you have more options than Dexter, who only picked 2.
So we have a vote for the Drill Mole. Scabotage is going to be more important.
The Dredger Drone.
No, that's
not
not what the chat says. Read the chat.
That Endorvian said.
Yeah, okay. Endorvian said he likes, which I don't know. Like, does Axiom have a lot of ways to refill? Card draw?
A billion.
Yeah,
a billion.
Axiom has plenty of card draw.
It's mostly resupply, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is mostly resupply.
Yeah, they have enough resupply already.
Do they have enough? Can you ever have enough?
Yeah, because if you are the faction that can cycle your deck 4 times in a game, I think you have enough.
But like, does this not beat out a different resupply card? Or are we fighting for the resource slot?
Well, that's not what we're answering. We're just answering.
Yeah, you're right. We're not answering that. We're not asking that question. Okay.
All right, Felix. What one card are you fighting to add to the list?
Between those two, or between the ones that I wrote?
Between the ones that you wrote that aren't already on the list.
Okay, so the list currently has... which list? The one that's under you? So,
yeah, we have in Axiom, we now have the Grems, Tech Lab, and Drill Mole.
Mm-hmm.
So you put down Abby, Efren, and Evanescence?
Yeah, I like Efren, personally, but I'm a weird player. Just for the fact that this is one of the really rare scout cards that pays for itself. So early game, you can scout with it for 2 mana and use it sabotage or resupply, which it's random, but it's still okay. And then later on, you can play for 3 for its 4/4/4 stats. But even if you play it late game for 5 or play it early game for 2 and then 3, you're still paying for the total of 5 mana anyways. So he's paying for himself early or late game.
All right, you're gonna pick Efren instead of Abby to fight for?
I like Abby too.
I'm a big fan of Abby.
There's a problem.
I think you have a better chance of getting my vote if you pick Abby from your list.
I think
I do like the fact that she augments a card for 1.
What?
How many were we going to try to pick from each faction?
5.
I do like the fact that Abby as well can be used with stuff like the Keelan. Is it Keelan Hive? No, the Bug Hive. No, not the Bug Hive. The 3 mana permanent
Cylinder.
that can. Yeah, no, not Cylinder. Cylinder is good though too. It gives it counters too.
Brass Bug Hub instead of Hive.
The Brass Bug Hub. You can use it with the Brass Bug Hub. You can use it with the Cylinder as well. So there's already a couple of cards already that you can use it with. You can also use it with the newer ones that gain counters by doing specific things. So yeah, I'll probably go with Abby.
All right, easy inclusion, Abby, because I agree, and Endorvian already agrees in the live chat. Also, as a reminder, we are not trying to come up with a list of 5 because we can't get there with how we're playing the game. It's just at the end of each faction, you are fighting for 1 card that isn't on the list currently to see if it can get added or not.
Okay. So I failed in my mission, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, you failed. My Drill Mole took out priority, and then Abby made it from Felix.
So we got our 5 for Axiom. Is that
we have 4 for But yeah, moving on to Bravos.
So we
got the Grimm's, Tech Lab, Drillmole, and Abby for top Axiom cards that are cool and solid.
Yeah, correct. So have none of you guys ever played like Boss Battle or any of those other games?
No.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
In different card games.
Never heard of her.
The basic concept is like if I draw a card and I have Superman and you draw a card and then you have Spider-Man, your goal is to convince everyone or me that Spider-Man would win, and my goal is to convince that Superman would win.
Got it.
Well, that's a pretty easy battle right there.
It is. Spider-Man would win.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Spider-Man, literally one of the strongest heroes ever, and all you need to do is just get some space rock and chuck it at Superman.
Some stupid space rock.
Right. Do you get it now?
Yeah, I do. Okay, now I understand how we're playing the game. Now that I understand the rules, I'm in. Okay.
All right. So, Bravos. Duel of Grit was a 3 of 3. So we all agreed that Duel of Grit is a top 5 Bravos card.
Top tier card.
It might be the best new card in the set.
The best removal card.
It might be. Verdict is still out, but if you do not know what Duel of Grit is, it is a 2-cost from hand and a 2-cost from reserve spell. It does have leading, but it is in the common, send to reserve target character with hand cost less than or equal to the hand cost of a character you control. The rare just upgrades that to discard instead of send to reserve. Incredibly great in Atsadi. Pretty dang good at anyone else. And it is oof into Lyra. And the art is really cool. It's Fiore against Atsadi in a sword battle.
Who's the other one? Fiore? What are you saying?
Yeah. One of the characters that
One of the characters from this set? Yeah.
That you should have seen, but you saw it.
I did. I saw that one.
Reading it.
No, I did see that one. I thought it was fine. That almost made it to the list.
All right. Yeah. We're all in agreement there. So
yes, Duel Grid is great.
The next one that made it to the list was, this is how you say the name, so remember, Aoife, who made it on 2 lists. Those 2 were me and Felix, and not Dexter, of course. Felix, what does Aoife do, and why did you pick Aoife?
So Aoife is a 5-hand, 5 reserve cost, 5/4/5 with Scout, and from anywhere you may have another target character lose fleeting and gain a boost. The rare just reduces the Scout to 1 mana. I personally really, really like it because it's helping hand on a body. And in characters like Atsari, that automatically gets you already a card draw as soon as the game starts. And just the fact that it's a helping hand on a body, you can play it later too.
So expensive.
Scout is really what you're using Aoife for. When you get to the later game, you just do it again. Very good card. I would say it did very well during the demo deck tournament. But it was picked twice, so it makes it to the list.
So it is just expensive.
I'm guessing you stack this, right? I play Scout, use the triggered ability to have a character lose fleeting, gain the boost, and then I'd send it to reserve.
Yep.
Being the active player, you get to stack the triggers the way you'd like.
Correct. Yep.
Oh, I did add Cup of Sap last minute to mine, didn't I?
Late game, then what? It just becomes a body on the field?
Yeah, but then it still does
it's
the
already in
ability.
reserve, and assuming if you are a player that runs like Bravo's Haven and stuff, it does come in with boosts of on its own as well, and it could still trigger by having something remove fleeting again.
I guess I'm gonna have to hear the rest of this list.
Yeah, you Wookie, you're welcome to chime in with which one is the coolest based on art. In Bravos.
Well, coolest based on art thus far is the Tolarian Skater.
Oh yeah, Skater is super dope.
Seems good too, right? Pay one for a one boost.
Yep, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's fine.
And then it also I was reading a card in here too.
Oh, it is chucking energy drinks.
It is,
yeah.
yeah.
Molotov energy drinks.
What makes you say they're Molotov? They're not on fire.
I think it's just the liquid, but I'm choosing to pick that.
You're choosing to think it's fire?
Yeah, I'm choosing to pick that she.
Fair enough. What was the one that said that I can move my boost when I go to reserve? Is that the excavator?
There's a whole bunch of Axiom cards that if you remove the boosts, they do things.
Well, it was like you can move your boost once it goes to reserve. You can move the boosted tokens. I think that's the excavator. Yeah, when I leave the expedition token for each of my boosts, another target character in reserves gains one boost. That's not quite it. I don't know what I was thinking of, but I mean, I dig the skater. I don't know how. I kind of like Spirit Wielder.
Yeah, Spirit Wielder could easily.
I think it could easily run away on a turn one play.
What is Spirit Wielder?
No, it can't, can it? No, it would have to be the rare.
No.
Because it won't, because on a turn one play, Spirit Wielder gains one boost for each boosted character you control. Which I guess, because it is Bravos, so, late game too, it doesn't become a dead card.
Yeah.
But the rare automatically fulfills it, so it gives it its boost. And then it gives it another boost, right? No, it's got to be played from if played from reserve, right?
When played from reserve, yes.
I think both rares are pretty good.
Oh yeah, the Muna one is the rare, except it anchors itself.
The rare is so good.
Yeah.
I just think there's so many other good options. It didn't make top 5, but it is a good call out.
But I'm also a big fan of the Bravos Pendakar. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
The Bravos Pendakar at night, if I have 2 or more boosts, sabotage at rest.
And the rarest season.
And I would say the rarest season, so it keeps its boosts. Same thing, sabotage at rest.
I just think there's not enough boosting effects in Bravos.
There's not enough boost in Bravos? Are you dumb?
No. Not in the good Bravos decks.
He's saying Basira sucks.
I hate Basira won the AWOL invitation.
I hate Basira so much. Aklut is my worst enemy.
Am I stupid? There's not a lot of good boost in Bravos?
To consistently get 2 boosts on a character,
it's very easy.
I don't know. I just feel like it would be kind of inconsistent.
That doesn't seem very difficult for Bravos.
Anyways, I was going to heavily consider the Muna version because we're so starved for sabotage. But then some other cards came out, and I think it pushed that out of consideration. But yeah, no, it's Pendakar is an interesting card. Could be seen in some decks. But
that's really all I like. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the pace. Everybody I know is looking forward to Hestia.
No one likes Hestia.
It was very lackluster reading it now. I'm like, that's not fun. None of the chefs were like, oh my god.
I was
not excited.
Chefs, actually.
Pastry Chef is pretty good.
I guess late game it's not bad, right? The common Pastry Chef.
Yeah.
For 5, I mean, I guess it gets good stats at a 5 and draws a card.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the pastry chef.
Junior Chef really didn't do much for me.
Nah. The rare is good, but it's not worth the slot.
Yeah. What were you moving on to? Cup Sap?
Yeah, Cup of Sap.
Cup of Sap.
So 2
Love this
people
card.
picked this on their list. I would also say it performed very well in the demo deck tournament. So
The rare is so strong.
Yeah, it's a very low cost spell that at the common gives target character in reserve 2 boosts, and at the rare gives it 3 boosts, and then the Axiom version is the 2 boosts, and it's always 1 mana from hand and 2 from reserve. Very good card. Also cool art. But I am worried what's going to happen to people drinking the sap. But maybe I'm just.
I don't know. This scout ability has got me all sorts of like antsy.
Yeah, they're.
I like it, but
fun.
it's like what's is it like Theseus, right?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the common Theseus, but I'm like, man, but he's an 8. Like that's pricey. You know,
good in that Saudi.
You know, but I mean, for 3, you get to return target character to its owner's hand. I mean, a bounce ability for 3, that doesn't seem bad.
Yeah,
it does. That's how you draw a lot, just within 3 plays. So it's pretty good too there.
I mean, and then the rare is, I don't know why the rare goes up to 4, scout 4. Kind of weird. I mean,
it sends it to reserve instead of hand.
Is it better to? I guess you get 2 plays out of it if it sends it to hand, and only 1 if you get it from reserve.
Yep.
Is that worth the extra 1 in a rare slot though?
No.
Depends, but Theseus is very good in that Saudi.
And then I got to read every djinn that comes across my desk because Cole Robbie has a thing for djinns.
Only Tony Djinn.
Only tiny djinn? Well, whatever.
Swift Djinn was probably like my 6th pick. It is way better than Meh. It is a very good card.
It seems pretty good. I mean, for 3, you get some ramp.
Yep.
You have to do it from yourself, though.
What do you mean?
Wait, what?
You have to put a card from your reserve into the mana zone.
Yeah, can you target
losing card?
Can you target itself? Can it target itself?
Yes.
Yes, you can.
So basically, for 3, you're putting Swift Djinn in the mana zone.
Yes.
Yeah.
That seems pretty good.
Can you do that?
Why can't you?
Yes. Both abilities go into limbo. You get the order they resolve. You send it to reserve first, and then you resolve the one that sends something from reserve to mana. Just because it goes to reserve doesn't mean they don't trigger.
But it's left play now. You can still trigger the ability after it's not in play anymore.
Well, you get to stack the triggers in the order you want to.
Once they go into limbo.
I would still rather play the other sucky card then, though. The one that costs 2 mana, the spell that puts the top card of your deck into mana. No one plays that, do they?
Actually, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I've played a bunch of people already that have been playing it.
Mana channeling? Really?
Yep.
Yeah, surprisingly, yes.
Mana channeling?
A lot.
I've seen a good amount of Atsadis and Basiras as well.
Huh.
Yeah.
I just really don't like mana channeling, I guess.
It's definitely, if you're playing a Bravos ramp deck, you definitely use it.
Yeah.
There are some very cool things you're going to be able to do with Swift Djinn. You also gotta think that this joins the expedition technically, right?
Yep.
Then it bounces to reserve. And then you put it in mana.
Yeah.
So if you have something that triggers upon something joining the expedition or leaving the expedition, I am 99% sure it will trigger those.
Yeah.
Trigger the leaving of the expedition?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
the auto faction is an axiom, and I think it's a pretty cool one for Traced, for example.
Yeah.
Because it will go into mana and give Traced a counter.
Yep. So it almost made my top 5. I think Cup of Sap.
That's true. I didn't do Axiom. Should have been my Axiom list.
I think Cup of Sap is what kind of edged it out. I do have Hydra on my list, which I could have removed. But Hydra is so cool. The art is great, and it's very good in Atsadi, and it did pretty well during the demo deck tournament when it got going. So, yeah, I will admit that Hydra is maybe a little bit of a personality higher for me.
Man, all these food counter ones, they ain't tickling nothing in me.
But we have 3 now in Bravos. So let's see. Let me look at the list.
I mean, we've pretty much gone through all of them at this point.
Yeah.
Except for the excavator, which we even talked a little bit about the excavator. Not a huge fan of the mess. Like, just doesn't do much for me. I don't feel anything for it.
Do you want to switch this to a full spoiler episode, Wookie?
I mean, I'm kind of like, I'm reading a lot of these first glance, right? Because I've had a hell of a week at work, and just like, okay, when a character leaves the expedition, it gains a food counter. All right, and then you spend 3 food counters to resupply. 3 seems like a lot, doesn't it? I mean, I guess
it depends on the character.
The rare is spend 4 and you draw a card, but that's a non-token, so that's just when a non-token character. So that one seems worse than the common. I don't know, just doesn't do much for me. And the stew seems okay, but I don't know if it's target character gains 1 boost. Characters in my expedition are seasoned. That probably would be a good thing in Bravos.
That one is when the character joins an expedition, right?
No, just target character gains 1 boost. Characters in my expedition are seasoned. The rare says you can pay 1 to have target character gain 1 boost or lose fleeting.
Having your character seasoned is pretty good.
It is pretty good, and I mean, obviously in Bravos, which likes its boosts, you know, that's a thing that can happen.
Especially if you use something like EB energy bars.
But then yeah, you can pay 1 to have target character gain 1 boost or lose fleeting. That seems okay. That's, you know, basically what the old fireball attack, right? Pay 1 to get 1.
Yeah, pretty much.
Why does the sap look like beer?
It's like honey syrup, weird stuff. But I don't know. They cook with it and make all other sorts.
You know, I know. I've been poking around. Just, it's so weird. It's like, it looks like beer in some instances, and looks like energy conduits in some instances, and then I don't know. It's really strange.
Read the flavor text for the cup of sap. It says, "Sap beverages may not be everyone's cup of tea, but they sure perk you up." So yeah, it's got like, something going on there.
It's a drug.
But,
I'm sorry. That's the spoilers. That's the conclusion Wookiees come to.
Yeah. Does anyone want to fight for adding another specific card to Bravos?
Or to Bravos? No. I'm
good. You want to move on to Lyra?
The best faction.
Let's go to Lyra.
Okay, cool. I feel like we talked about a lot of Bravos.
We talked about all of Bravos there.
The only Lyra that showed up on multiple lists was Merry Reunion. And
it's a good card.
Was
Daedalus too.
2? Did I put Daedalus? No, I think I.
Yeah, you put Daedalus too. Okay, I really like Daedalus.
Yeah, I think Daedalus. I went back and forth on for a second.
Especially the rare.
I made the overlap section of this a little late. I didn't get on the computer when I was planning on it, so I think I missed some. But okay, Daedalus and Merry Reunion. Do you want to tell us what those are, Wookie?
Sure. Daedalus is a 3 from hand, 3 from reserve, 0/3/3. When played from hand, target a character in reserve, then roll a die. On a 4+, we both gain 1 boost. On a 1 through 3, I gain 1 boost, or it gains 1 boost. The rare has Scout 1. And then when played from anywhere, target another character in play or in reserve, then roll a dice. On a 4+, we both gain 1 boost. On a 1 through 3, it gains 1 boost. Rolling dice. I love it.
Yeah, but this Daedalus has some pretty cool interactions, though.
Yep,
Let me see.
I think a lot of people have been excited about Daedalus, and I think the fact that if you just upgrade to the rare, you can do the ability for 1. And a card that
and it's not like there's not plenty of ways in Lyra to get cards from your reserve back into your hand. Those don't exist.
Yep.
They do.
Rolling a die and doing it for 1 and getting a benefit no matter what happens is going to be very good in Lyra.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to mention it triggers Auroch because it has a 0.
Yeah.
You're still talking about Auroch over there? Come on now.
Yeah.
I've actually been playing a lot of Auroch recently, too.
Yeah. The most
Good
fun
luck with
hero
that.
to play in the game.
Hitting those Winter Novas for free is nice. Anyways.
Man, well, okay. I was going to say, nobody liked Ephron, but he's kind of pricey.
Merry Reunion. What about that one?
Oh, Merry Reunion. 2 from hand, 2 from reserve, resupply. If you put a character in reserve this way, you may immediately play it for 2 less. So basically, you resupply. Oh, I'm sorry. And then the rare, 2 from hand, 1 from reserve, cooldown. Resupply. If you put a character in a reserve this way, you may then put it into hand.
I don't know why you would ever want the rare. I love the common, though.
Yeah, cool card. Resupplying once again for 2 cost, as we've said on another card, is not too pricey, and you have the bonus benefit if you put a character, you can play it for 2 less. Very, very, very good. You could end up with a free character and a resupply for 2, or a resupply and a character for 1, blah, blah, blah. And at first you're thinking, but wait, it's the same character you resupply that you're playing. I think in Lyra, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Seeing more cards, more good, especially with how Fen plays right now. So if the worst case scenario is you just resupply and nothing else, I think
for 2 mana, it's still fine.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like Lyra kind of got a little bit.
You just got to look longer.
I'm looking
no, they did get a lot of mid cards.
They look. I mean, I kind of like Ephron, right? Another rolling of the dice, and both seem good. Kind of pricey.
I think Daedalus fits in all 3 heroes too.
I have a card that I am absolutely going to fight to add to the list.
I kind of like Lakshmi. Very edge case though, right? Like, not terrible stats for a 3. And if you are rolling lots of dice, it could have huge upsides. 1/6 gets you some cards. Man in the Maze, again, just pricey. I like the effect, but 7. And for 7 and 4, I'd rather pay the 4, but you only get it when it played from hand. If it was played from anywhere, it'd be a lot better. Played from hand, remove all boosts from characters in play and in reserve. Then, depending on the number of boosts removed this way, 1 through 4, I gain 2 boosts. 5 through 8, play a card with a hand cost 3 or less for free. 9 plus, my expedition moves forward 1 region. I guess that could be pretty good.
Yeah.
But kind of dependent, right?
You'd have to get 9 plus, which is a lot.
I mean, but if
Unless
you do...
you're playing against El Wee Wee's Finn and he has an Anansi with 9 boosts on it all by itself.
I mean, but if you do, you could just win on the spot, right?
Yeah.
Or a Hydra.
Or a Hydra.
Yeah. I like Man in the Maze.
What
is expensive.
7. Oof. Oh.
They have to use the martingales and all the other stuff to reduce its cost.
Yeah.
We converting to a full go through all the cards?
Mine as well at this point. I mean, what do we got? What do you want to add to the list? I don't see anything in here that like
I really like X marks the spot.
Gets me excited.
It's 3 cost and you get rid of anything and then it'll come back a few turns later.
I like Flore, carrying Gardener.
Who?
Floor. Felix, you picked a lot of oofs around, which is very interesting.
Why are none of the Bliss characters any good?
They are.
They are? Which one?
Guitarist is on my list for certain. Guitarist
for what? Good. For Arak?
For anyone. But that's not the card I'm going to fight for, and that's
I think that's only good for Arak. I hate to tell you, I don't think that's good for anybody else. I mean, I guess it's drawing a card, I guess, but go ahead, let's fight. What do you want to fight for?
Wayfarer. I think Wayfarer is a easy inclusion in Navenka. I think it'll be a ton of fun in Arak. Fen.
That is actually pretty good.
Maybe.
Are you saying the rare or the common?
Either way, honestly, I could go either. I think the common.
I tried really hard to get this work in the Navenka demo deck, and you just roll and you roll and you roll and you never get the same result, so it never does anything. So I just wasted 3 mana. That's my opinion.
I think it's
Wayfarer.
a fun card. I don't think it's necessarily good because it's a 1/6 chance and it works once. So even if you don't hit the card, you can't resolve it again because the card is already revealed.
Oh, it works once per afternoon, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it only works once per day.
Okay, so the reason that this is amazing is because before Navenka has not had any permanents. There's no reason to play any other permanent in Navenka.
Now,
what about the double dice roll thing?
Yeah,
I feel attacked.
Nobody plays that. That one is a waste.
I feel attacked.
You play Martingales instead.
And the guy that plays the Bastion and the Aether Shard. Like, come on.
Yeah. This is. I also think it can also satisfy a landmark for Fen. Not as good of a case for Fen, but it can. And once again, we're talking about there are a lot of uniques out there that might be collecting dust in Lyra because they have a landmark requirement. You also roll so much on uniques that even if you're not playing Navenka, who is supposed to be the one that rolls the most, you're probably going to roll at least a couple times throughout the game. And Dexter just has really bad luck. But let's see here. So when you roll one or more die, also reveal the top card of your deck. When you reveal a card this way, if its hand cost is equal to the die's result, draw it. So it's card draw, best case scenario. But worst case, it's seeing what your next card is and seeing, do I want to go for a resupply, or how is my turn going to change based on knowing this?
I would disagree. I think worst case, you give your opponent information about what you're doing, and don't help yourself in any way.
Cards you're going to have in your hand too.
Maybe. The rare or the common, I think, depends on if you have the slots or not.
I think the common's better.
The rare is definitely better at face value, but a rare slot is a rare slot. So I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it. I had it work multiple times in the demo deck. And I
played 4 games with Navinka, and I got it to work once.
Just get better.
Roll better. Yeah, you just suck. That's all it is.
I just roll better.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
It sounds like I'm losing this one though. So
Wayfarer sucks.
What are you fighting to add, Dexter?
I said X marks the spot. 3 cost removal.
I'll let Felix go first if he has anything to say to you.
In terms of X marks the spot or my choice?
Yeah.
In terms of X marks the spot, do we let him add it?
I think it's okay. I don't find it amazing, just for the fact that it costs 3 mana for a removal.
Yeah,
and they're gonna see it again.
What else do you have in Lyra that costs less than 3?
It costs less than 3?
A lot
Yes.
In terms of removal, off you go.
That takes a rare slot.
Twinkle Twinkle.
That doesn't count as removal.
Sleep.
Acapella
Yeah,
training
coffee-
is great, but that doesn't count as removal.
All right, so this is
on a 3.
Well, what do you count it
this
as?
is what I'll say about X marks the spot. I think the rare is pretty good and enticing. But once again, it's a rare. What X marks the spot says is roll a die, send target character to the X position of its owner's deck, where X is the result. The rare also adds, if X is higher than the hand cost of the target, ready 1 mana orb. So very, very interesting rare there. I think the problem with X marks the spot is it's fleeting. It does cost 3, and it has that same issue of the Theseus issue we were talking about.
That it comes back.
It's gonna come back. I don't think it's bad. I think it's fun. But I don't.
I think if it
know.
hit permanence, it'd be perfect, but it doesn't.
True. All right, sounds like that one's another womp womp. So what are you on?
Womp
Felix?
womp.
What does Felix have to say?
Tech Lab.
Oh,
Yeah.
Let's not a common Lyra. Pick one that's a common in Lyra.
I mean, if that's
Yeah, but
we
so
already
many
said we
Lyra
like-
decks run like magical trainings, or they might use a cappella, or they have so many ways to start.
Yeah, we already like Tech
save
Lab.
hand.
We already went over that card.
if that is Felix's pick in Lyra, I allow it. So I think that card is a
Tech Lab is a great card. Yeah.
in Fen.
In
I
Fen, it
think
would
not
be
just
great.
Fen. I think also in just all the other ones too, especially with magical training still being a thing.
Sap Duende is fun. I don't.
Yeah, I
know
put that
if,
one on my list.
I don't know if Lyra really needs it. Funnily
it's really
enough,
just fun because you get to watch this guy get high throughout the cards.
Yeah, I think it would be very good.
It would be Lyra who's like,
common.
let's smoke it.
Yep. Yeah. If it was a common in Muna, I would absolutely 100% play it. In Lyra, I don't think it's necessary personally.
In Dorvian, I put it on my list, and nobody else said anything about it, but I think it's good.
Yep. So we will add Tech Lab to Lyra. Does Wookiee want to add an honorable mention from the Wookiee point of view?
My honorable. I like Lakshmi. I know it's really.
It's fine.
Crazy, right? It probably doesn't hit most of the time, but
I think Lakshmi will make some really good uniques because if you are not super into deck building, people say like certain characters are like illegal to use uniques of. It just means that the character is such a staple in a deck that you don't want a unique of that character. Like Muna is maybe like a Dracana. Ordis would be what the heck is one that's illegal in Ordis? I don't freaking know. Bravos.
Baba Yaga.
I really like Ephron
Baba
too.
Yaga.
She's suspended though.
So I think Lakshmi would be a really good case for a unique, because you probably aren't going to run 3 of her in a deck, but the ability and the potential, I think, is very good.
Two of my favorites, which I don't know if they're going to end up being competitive or not. They might. I really like Ephron. Right? I mean, when he comes into play from hand, there's no downside. You're either going to sabotage or you're going to resupply. You're happy either way, I would think. And Man in the Maze. I like Man in the Maze.
Man in
this
the
is
Maze
one.
Man in the Maze is super cool.
And it's in Ysmir? Oh, shit.
Yeah, it is very
we can get obnoxious with this.
If you play Hydra, just by the way.
Yeah, it could. I mean, yeah, it could be. It could be a little bit busted, but yeah.
Yep.
I
think someone said, I don't remember who, in the main Discord, they were saying that they played either the Hunger or the Man in the Maze or whatever, and removed 20 boosts from the board. So
damn. Does that mean you get to go forward twice? No? I'm just joking. I'm joking. Calm down, Cole.
I'm joking.
I hear Cole's judge mind go off, and he's like, well, no, it's only 9+. Be like, I know. Read the card. Reading the card explains the card. I get it. Like, 9's it.
All right.
On to Muna. We've already been at this for an hour, and we're only halfway through.
Yeah.
Moon, and we're not even doing all the cards.
No. Muna got all the cute shit. Again.
Yeah. Muna
sucks.
I am so disappointed in Dexter. I'm kicking him back out of my faction. And
all the cards are bad.
And Felix is just over here like, I don't know what you're doing, but at least it's not as bad as Dexter.
I picked 2 cards that I liked. All the rest I still think are bad.
I think I have to quit this podcast because it's just giving me an aneurysm.
We could always just kick Dexter out.
Pick your top 5 cards. Dude picks 2 spells, nothing else. That's not even 5.
Yeah? I didn't like 5 cards. I've said this before. I pick the cards I actually like and then don't do anything else.
That's not how it works. The point is to pick 5 so that people have an understanding of the 5 potentially best cards in a faction. Okay.
I don't know. I'm not seeing a ton in Muna. That
Requiem.
Go.
Yeah, I think Requiem is great.
Is the only one that showed up on 2 lists, and it is not mine. It is Felix and Dexter's. I did not put it on my list.
The common cost. I can talk about it. The common costs 2 from hand, 2 from reserve. It has fleeting, and then you can choose one. Either discard target fleeting character with hand cost 4 or less, or discard target permanent with hand cost 4 or less. And then the rare costs 2 from hand, 3 from reserve. It has cooldown, and then similar abilities except discard target fleeting or a sleep character. And then the Lyra is the same as the rare. And solid removal. You're getting rid of something that costs 4 less for only 2 mana. I like removal.
Yep. I did not put this one because I'll just stick to Lost in the Woods. Very, very cool card art, though. I would just rather have Lost in the Woods. And if I'm going to add more than 3, I'm going to add Mana Reaping. So
yeah.
So honestly, does Muna use the sap as pesticides or as fertilizer?
Fertilizer.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I'm looking at sap dispersal, and I'm like, do their crops have faces? That's weird.
Yeah. Seeing as I am the longest running Muna player.
You are right, Cole, now that I think about that. About only running 3 Lost in the Woods and then Mana Reaping if you need something else. The Requiem you probably don't need. I should have thought about that, but I'm like, this is great removal.
You should have thought. You should have thought. Okay. I am going to, man, this one's hard. I will just run my list real quick. I won't say anything about them. If you want to ask me about them outside of the podcast, feel free. I had to put my boy Granbois on there. He was my card reveal, of course. That one is maybe my personality higher. I do think there's some really cool builds with him. Corgi, Floor, Aron, and Swarm. Who am I gonna fight for? I think I have to. Man, I had to cut down my Muna list, of course, because there are so many good things at play here in Muna.
What do you like about Floor?
So, all right, I'll fight for Floor because that was your question.
Yeah, I don't see anything that's like crazy.
First off, she reminds me of my wife, so
okay,
I'm into that. Cute little gardener taking care of the plants. We have like over 100 plants in our house. But
in your house?
Yeah, I'm not exaggerating.
Nice.
So I think I absolutely find a way to run the rare, and I think Floor replaces Sneezer Shroom, which I think has been around too long.
What?
The only
Why do you run the rare?
Because
just the one cost less?
Do I run the rare? I think I do. Anyways, the point is, if you read the persistent,
yes, I can read.
Am I fighting for the card, or is Dexter? What's going on here?
I'm fighting against the card as you fight for it.
Let me finish reading it first. So the rare is 2 from hand, 2 from reserve. It's a 3/3/0. You know, I think Muna has too many 3-cost cards, so the rare dodges that. At noon, another target character in play or in reserve gains 1 boost. So as long as you just play this once early on for pretty decent stats and just let it sit in your reserve.
It's just a constant boost.
It's basically another version of the Spindle Muna Bastion. The other thing is, if you anchor it, it's going to do the same thing. So it does it.
Are you sure about that?
Wherever it is. Yeah. I mean, no, actually, I'm not. I'm dumb. Don't listen to that part. Errata that.
Too late. I've already listened.
It's a persistent.
It's being recorded too.
It's a persistent.
The persistent support ability. It only activates while it is in reserve.
Only in reserve. What I meant.
Gorabi just tried to lie to all of y'all.
I'm just talking too fast. What I meant to say was, I look at a lot of cards as well as the ability and where they might show up. And I think this is really cool. But yeah, there's a lot of cards on here that I think people just need to wrap their head around and see the play style and see how they benefit off of things Muna's been doing for a while.
And, I do take the tribal out of Arwan.
Yeah.
Arwen?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Aron is what I said.
He is on my list as well. The thing you'll notice
Aron is good.
There are a lot of plants that are also animals. So double plant animal.
Luminous
swarm animal. Yeah. I see it now.
Yeah. Also, Sneezer Shroom, you go the rare because it gains a boost.
Yeah.
The common does not gain a boost. That's why we go rare. But I don't think Sneezer Shroom is that strong, and I think it finally rotates out with this new set.
Yeah, I think it's droppable.
With things like the swarm or, whatever else you put in. Little mouse, maybe even fox, all of that.
I have a strange question for you, Judge. So, let's say Minotaur, right? I'm a big fan of Minotaur. Think he's dope. I don't know if he's a good card, but I think he's dope. Okay, so like the constant ability at noon, I gain 1 boost up to a max of 2. Is that up to a max of 2 from that ability? Or is it up to like, so if like, he gets a boost from his ability and then let's just say something else gives him a boost while he's in reserve or wherever. Is that it?
It'll only be able to add a boost if it has 1 or less boosts on it at noon.
Yes.
So it's not like if something else gave him the boost
on it, it can't add another one.
From that ability.
From that ability.
Yes.
But you can still augment it or use floor to give it more boosts above the 2.
I wasn't sure if it's like, man, do I have to track these separately now?
No.
Like this is the abilities boost. This boost came from elsewhere.
Minotaur is also good. It's also an animal, and it is one that could see some potential.
I do like the Minotaurs.
6.
Yeah, but Scout 3, you're missing the Scout 3. Like Scout 3, target character with
training. Then,
yeah, but like you now have there is something to be said about having a body for late game.
Play with Floral Tent, and then you're good.
Yep, I was gonna say I think Dexter hasn't wrapped his brain around Scout yet.
Yeah, I mean,
I know what Scout does.
Well, you might know what it does, but like there is something to be saying to be like, hey, I do have this big critter down here for.
It's a 3 mana 6/6/6.
Right.
The rare can also anchor itself for 3. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh damn!
That is true.
If Floral Tent prevents it from being removed, you just remove the anchor instead.
Yep.
So if you Scout 3 the rare, right? So I Scout 3, play it for 3. Target. I trigger the anchor ability, give it anchored. And then what? It attempts to send it to reserve, and then it just removes the anchored instead, right?
Only with Floral Tent.
That's kind of funny.
Why only with Floral Tent?
Floral Tent prevents your anchor characters from going to reserve, going anywhere, just by removing their anchor status.
Yeah.
You can pay 3 to get a 5/5/5. I like it.
Your Taja gets bigger than that.
But wouldn't when it attempts to go to reserve, wouldn't it just remove the anchored?
Yeah,
that's
because
only
of the Floral Tent.
Okay.
Anchored is not like a ward, Wookiee.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I guess I kind of treat it that way, but okay.
So yeah, that is, I guess, where I fought for, but I think there's a lot of good cards.
You're not going to fight for the farm?
No.
Nah.
I think I skipped the farm.
I think that's one of the best. I won't know what the cycle's really called. The food
Whispers
cycle?
from the Maze. Oh,
I will say
the permanence.
The farm is better than the undergrowth. But I play Tasia most of the time. I know people.
I like the undergrowth.
I know people are like, farm is more seeing your anchor support. But
who plays Arjun though?
I think with all the new removal, I'm gonna have to continue to run the Muna Bastion. So I just don't think the farm has a place.
Finds a home. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, Ortis player, do your thing. How many spells did you pick from this one?
Me?
Aren't you
I don't even play much Ortis anymore.
Oh, you don't play Ortis anymore?
I mean, sure. I can. I put down 2 spells and 1 creature.
Yeah. So for Ortis, our overlaps were just conscription and license withdrawal, and we had.
And I put down both of those.
We had no other overlap.
I think Ortis became the funniest faction.
What do you mean?
Aren't you looking at like all their all their characters? I mean, yeah, they're but you have like staff clerk, like old lady who like stamps things, right?
Yeah,
the accountant, right? Like just they're all bureaucrats, but they're kind of funny. Like the dispatcher, right? Like the person that sends people places, the health inspector, like all these are kind of like very, very funny. And license withdrawal and conscription, like, I don't know. They seem very, like, they got all the mundane shit jobs that nobody wants.
Goofy asses is what you're saying.
Fair enough, but like it was just I don't know, it's funny to me.
All right.
And I do like the dude who's definitely the Three Musketeers.
Felix, what is the card you're fighting to add to the list?
I got two. I'll start with.
Are we not going to talk about conscription and license withdrawal?
We will.
I mean, we agreed. Do we need to talk about them?
No, I don't think so.
I thought we were talking about them and then adding stuff on.
Go ahead and tell us what they do, boo-boo.
Okay. Conscription costs 2 from hand, 2 from reserve. It has fleeting. Target an expedition. Create X orders recruit 1/1/1 soldier tokens in it, where X is the number of cards in target player's reserve. And then the rares just have cooldown instead of fleeting. So, if your opponent is playing Finn or Subash or something that spams their reserve with like 4+ cards, playing this and making a whole bunch of tokens is really good.
Okay. Next.
Anything? Okay. On to license withdrawal. 3 from hand, 3 from reserve. It has fleeting, and then it has choose one, either discard target boosted character or discard target permanent. And then the rare costs 2 from hand, 2 from reserve. And then it puts on the stipulation with hand cost 3 or less for both of the discard abilities.
Yeah, the rare seems kind of bad.
License withdrawal is a waste of a spot, but it was on 2 lists, so I don't have to fight against it.
The common seems fine. The rare seems kind of...
Ordis doesn't need it.
Fair.
Yeah. Ordis already has plenty of other removal.
Mm-hmm.
So you fight to put the card on there, and then you agree?
Well, see, I made these lists kind of really fast, and it was basically like if I see removal, I put it on the list, even if it doesn't really make the cut.
I mean, because like Health Inspector seems like super interesting, right? With all the counters that are going on things in reserve, right? He kind of shuts that down. That seems it seems interesting. I didn't say it was good. I said it seemed interesting. Calm down over there.
The purpose of this was
But Waru's dead. If Waru was still alive, I would play Health Inspector.
Not have an over 2-hour episode. So
yeah, I'm aware.
We're kind of failing that mission.
Yeah.
Because you guys don't listen.
Yeah, it's true. We don't.
Anyways, Felix.
I'm just speeding through this to get to Ysmir.
I was going to say Ariadne.
Yeah, Ariadne's a super cool card.
Yeah, she is very interesting. I think we're already in agreement in allowing her on the list. It's going to be hard to slot her in, but I think Ariadne, actually, I already know from PAX, Ariadne is definitely going to be a unique legal character. There are going to be some very interesting Ariadne uniques, and the ability is very interesting. What does it do, Felix?
When an opponent plays a character, if there are no characters in the expedition facing me, that character that they play switches expeditions. So pretty much, if the expedition facing her is empty, and they were to try and play a character in their other expedition, they have to switch it over and face Ariadne.
Yep. And the reverse, if they tried to play a card into Ariadne.
And the other one is empty. Right? No, I'm reading that.
So it's basically like a hooked no matter what, as long as it meets the condition.
It bounces around your opponent's characters and makes it so they can't play them where they want to.
Yeah. And it is a bureaucrat. So if somebody decides to be brave and check with Waru again, it is a bureaucrat.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So
same with the informant. I really like the informant. That's a bureaucrat too. It's an Ysmir out of faction, but is a bureaucrat too.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think both of your cards already made it on the list, right, Dexter?
Yeah.
Oh no, you put Ordis Accountant.
Which one's that?
Why Ordis Accountant?
I'll have to find it. Oh, because it's a Sandman effect. I like Sandman effects.
It's in my list as well.
Yeah, but Dexter's list is only 2 cards. Did you change,
I like Sandman.
Did you change it, or did I miss that one too?
Me? No.
Dexter. Did Dexter change his?
No, all of those were always there.
Okay, so Artist Accountant technically made it on then at ×2.
Yay!
Is Artist going to be the only one we make it to 5? I'm not even going to fight for a card if that's the case. I can't let Artist have 5.
Nope.
Let me see if I
Hondi
care
Izmir.
about the ones. Yeah, Staff Clerk actually. I think Staff Clerk or Mescatet, or Crier.
You're just saying all the cards now. Pick one.
You absolutely, Dexter. You know how many cards there are in each faction? There's more than 5
There's
cards
like
in every faction.
15.
Oh, pick one. Staff Clerk. I think Staff Clerk is going to be very good into the current meta. It's a 2 cost, 1/1/1. When an opponent plays a card from reserve, create a Ortis Recruit Soldier token in my expedition. It is very good in Ghoul and not too bad in anyone else, because Ortis has a lot of token spammers already, and this just bolsters them even more.
Can Fior de Libre be really good in Bravos?
No.
No? That was a quick no.
It's really too hard to get it to work math-wise. In Bravos, maybe.
How would you know? You failed math.
I got an A in calculus this
Okay.
semester. I'm taking calculus 3 next semester. I think in Basira, the Bravos one probably could be fine, but it does take up a rare slot still. And then the Ortis ones, sacrificing all the characters and then boosting it up can be good, but then if your opponent removes it, it's all a waste and it's not worth it at all.
This card will be interesting. There's probably some kind of interaction here we'll see come out and be surprised from. But this one might be one to look at uniques for. So
yeah,
the other thing with uniques is if you look at ones that are characters people never play, you can actually get some really good uniques for really cheap. Like Eros, Ganesha. What's another high cost one that people don't normally play? I've seen some crazy Kaibaras that
yeah.
So definitely, if you want to search for some weird stuff, search for some of that. But yeah, now to excite Wookie.
Yay, Gizmir!
So I put Corgan Informant ×2-ish, because I think Felix put it on the Ortis.
Felix put it on his list, right?
Yeah, it's an Ortis. I meant to put it in Izmir too, but I forgot.
Okay, so yeah, this card, without a doubt, is probably in the top 3 cards of the set.
Which one was it?
Corgan
of Informant.
Yeah. Starts with a Q.
Yeah. I know which one you speak of.
Oh my gosh, and it's Scout 1. Who said that was Scout 1?
Scout 1. So it's a 3 from hand, 2 from reserve, 2/3/2. Scout is a Scout 2 in the common, Scout 1 in the rare. And
no,
when
the
it's
common
played
has
from
no
hand.
Scout.
Oh, I thought it did. Never mind.
No.
Yeah.
Common is
right.
just play from hand, remove 2 counters from target character in play or in reserve.
Yeah. So it can remove boosts, it can remove counters from
Anchored,
permanents, all sorts
fleeting.
This card is
those aren't counters.
Those are statuses.
You sure?
Yeah, those are statuses.
What? Yeah. Counters are performance counters, scrap counters, boosts, heroism counters, whatever.
So why do boost count as counters, but like Anchor doesn't?
It's a status.
That seems weird. Okay.
It's a status.
But it says specifically this cannot target hero cards.
Yeah.
because there will be some interaction with the counters that are on heroes, just not from the informant. But yeah, this card is disgusting. Watching it in play during the demo tournament, it's just crushing.
I remember playing a trickster, and then they removed all the boosts she had, so she was a 0/0/0.
Yeah. So Wookiee is probably grinning evil grin ear to ear.
What? No, you wouldn't know. Kesha. Why would you say such a mean thing?
You sound like it.
Oh, I'm just over here reading. Don't mind me.
Next card that we all had on our list was the Scholar's Vault, which is basically the same as the Tech Lab, but in Ysmir, the common resupplies, and if there's one or more spells in your reserve limit is increased by 1. And then the rares get a little weirder. Who wants to read the rares?
The rare you may play spells of hand cost. Does that say 7 or 2?
7 or more.
7 or more for 1 less. I don't know why, but like it's really fuzzy, and I'm not sure if it was just like a bad transfer over. Yeah.
I think you need glasses.
It could be. I'm getting older. If there are 1 or more spells in your reserve limit increases by 1.
And then same in Bravos. Rare is really good in Bravos. Common is just fine enough.
It's not the same. It's characters instead of spells.
Okay.
You said it was the same in Bravos.
Oh, sorry. I see what you mean. Yes. It does have that difference. I just meant it's, the 7 or more, blah, blah, blah. Anyways. Yes, the rare is very good in Bravos. Rare
for Otsadi, Scholar's Vault.
Yeah. But let's take a look. Let's see. What do you have on your list? You put
those.
Oh, just those 2. All right.
Those were the only 2 I put.
What were the 2 on your list?
The ones we
just those
about.
2.
What was the first one? I'm sorry.
The informant.
The Korgan informant.
Oh.
I didn't like any other Ysmir.
I don't know why. Why do we like the informant?
It removes
2 counters.
Did you? So, like Felix said, he played a trickster, and then they just played an informant and removed all the boosts from the trickster, so it was a 0/0/0.
And so does it just leave the expedition at that point, or no? Because I guess it doesn't die.
No,
does
it's
it?
always there, but it shrinks them.
There. Yeah. And not to mention, it's a good cost for good stats in itself.
You didn't even like the scribbling starfish?
I mean, that is one of the cutest arts for sure.
I know, that's what I was thinking. I mean, it's not very good. I mean, maybe he is.
It's a pretty good card. Felix, what are you fighting to add?
To fight for?
Can we talk about
Probably Metamorphosis.
Oh yeah. I did like that one. You said Metamorphosis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
See,
I mean, we got to talk about Silas again, right?
Metamorphosis is hard for me because, well, how do you see playing it, and why do you like it, Felix?
So Metamorphosis I have some memories with a card called Swan Song from Magic the Gathering, that it does give your opponent a token, actually a 2/2 token, but it does counter a spell. So you get rid of a targeted thing that is bothering you, and they get a 2/2 in its place. If you think in terms of other game, like just in just any game here in Altered, you can discard you can discard anchored characters, you can discard boosted characters, you can discard Anansis, you can discard so many things, and it discards them. It doesn't send them to reserve, so they're gone.
Yeah,
and they get a 2/2 that does not go to reserve.
Yeah, that is. I looking at it now, the fact that the common doesn't have a cost associated, I think it can be pretty good. I just don't know how well it's going to pay off.
It wrecks Muna, doesn't it?
No. I'll take a 2/2/2 in Muna. I would say
it does wreck.
I mean,
some
a Hydra,
Bravos as well.
Yeah. But it'll cost more on a Hydra. I would say, yeah, this is going to be really good against anyone that plays characters that
big
are
critters.
5 or more. Yeah.
Anchors and boosts and stuff like that.
We talk about the Ysmir nurse for a minute.
What do you want to say about it?
Was this the first time like the card art has extended beyond like into the text box and such?
Oh, the card doesn't actually look like that. It's because it was revealed by Altered themselves, so they had like a fancy.
So they added an effect to it.
Yeah.
Man, I was really hoping it looked like this.
Yeah.
That's just not. Now you've ruined my day. Thanks, Cole.
But to unruin your day, they have been working on the foils, and in Trial by Frost, they tested hidden elements in certain foils, and now that it worked really well, there should be more in cards. So the artist Swarky put it, and they are very, very cool. So maybe
nice.
Maybe the Ysmir nurse has some wildness in the foil. We'll have to see. What am I fighting for? Dexter, you agreed with Metamorphosis?
No, I don't like it personally.
I
don't think it's worth it, but that's fine.
Vault, Silas, Nurse.
I just don't think it's versatile enough to be useful in most positions to take up a slot.
Do we all still have rock hard stiffies for Stylus?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good enough card, and I think his inclusion in the lore is very cool.
The lore is very cool. Like the rare Silas, like do you ever
in Acacia? Heck yeah, you do.
Do you ever get his infinite ability or his always on ability, or what do we call it? What is this called now?
Passive support.
Passive. Well, it's yeah, whatever. Do you ever get that?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Sling a ton of spells in Ysmir.
Right, but he gains 1 boost for each card in your hand.
That's on play, not in reserve. So if you get the 2 boosts in reserve and then play him, he'll be a 2/2/2 plus.
Plus whatever is in my hand.
And if you have 10 cards in your hand, it's pretty big.
Yeah, I suppose. Okay. And how the hell did this get into Ortis?
It's not good in Ortis. Ortis doesn't have enough card draw to make it really worth it.
It's the principle of the matter at this point.
Well, it's because it's the evil guy.
It's the evil guy, so he must be an Ortis.
Exactly. But I don't think.
I also don't think any other factions have any mages.
Do they?
I think all mages are in Ysmir or Ortis.
Oh, maybe. I am.
Oh nope! Look at that, Merlin's in Axiom.
Yeah, I'm gonna fight for. Can't do the hunger, even though the hunger is super cool.
The hunger's fun.
The hunger is gonna be fun. I don't know how well it'll be competitive.
At a 9, I don't know if that's gonna even be possible, is it?
No.
I'm just gonna go for the nurse. Specifically.
Oh, the nurse is good. I don't think you got to fight too hard for that one.
Yeah, especially in Lindaway.
Yeah, that's fine for Lindy.
If you think about it, if you have Ma out, if you play the nurse, sacrifice something that you want to sacrifice, it gains 2 boosts. Ma gains 2 boosts. It's very good value.
Imagine you have a rare Stargazer to sacrifice, and you have 2 more boosts to get.
Yep. All right, nurse made it. We got it. All right. That is the end of the main part of the episode. Let us know what cards we overlooked, how we're wrong, how we're right, and what cards surprised you, but after we talked about them, you changed your mind. But if we run through these next parts, we can do the full episode. And I picked a very cute story for you to read, us Wookie.
Oh, you did now, did you?
I did.
I gotta go click that. Hold on. Big sad story time. Aw. It's my little match girl. I love her.
Indeed.
All right. I sit down heavily next to the young Lyra, who has changed into the few clothes we managed to find for her. Her drenched pink and green winter jacket is hung out above the fire, where it shows little signs of thawing. I place another... hold on, let me make this bigger so my old eyes can see this. Because I'm thinking Dexter might be right. I place another blanket around her and rub her shoulders. Although her black hair is already dry, her skin is still pale after the prolonged dip under the ice. To say she was lucky we were passing by when we would be an understatement. Judging by the tracks on the frozen lake, it was probably that many sleds passing by that had weakened the ice layer. It was only a matter of time before it gave way. I noticed that she hasn't touched her hot chocolate, and that little tears are forming in the corners of her eyes. She must still be traumatized after what she just went through, and for good reason. The little one was very close to tragedy. Marmo barks next to me and whines in my mind. Yes, I understand. We'll try to take her mind off things a little bit. I take a deep breath and empty my mind. Then, using my construct, I summon the idea of the little match girl. I estimate she must be about the same age, and maybe even a little younger. Suddenly she appears, with bright red hair, sitting cross-legged on the snow, giving me a knowing look. The young Lyra stares at her as she hopefully opens her little case and takes out a box of matches. She strikes a match against the phosphorus, sending out sparks which turn into a hissing flame. She strikes another. Each time they ignite, a little robotic insect emerges from the fire, a metally butterfly or firefly. I smile. During these little moments of distraction, the young survivor seems to forget all about the cold. Source: The Little Match Girl is a Danish fairy tale written by Hans Christian Andersen. In the story, a penniless little girl wanders the streets on a frozen cold New Year's Eve, trying to sell boxes of matches, but no one is interested in buying them. Afraid to return home empty-handed, where her abusive father is waiting, she takes shelter in the alley and tries to warm up by lighting her matches. With each one she strikes, she experiences a hallucination of something she's deprived of, but still longs for the warmth of the hearth, delicious food, and her loving grandmother who recently passed away. In the morning, passers-by find her lifeless body, but she has a smile on her face. Do I need to read the section part? No, it's the section. The next part's the same. Well, that's depressing.
Gosh. That's depressing. That's awful.
Yeah, that's Don't you love those old fairy tales?
Yeah.
This is like worse than most of the Grimm fairy tales. This is like actually just sad.
What's crazy is like if you go read a lot of like the actual stories behind like the Disney books.
Yeah,
like,
pretty grim.
Like go read The Little Mermaid.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's a very different story.
If you've ever read the actual story of The Little Mermaid, they don't live happily ever after. I believe she finds Prince Eric cheating on her with another woman and kills them all and commits suicide. If I remember correctly.
I love fairy tales.
It's been a while.
It's one of the versions for sure. Yeah.
There you go. That was Little Match Girl, and now we know in the unique
way to bring down my day, Cole. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Cole was like, "You're not angry enough. I'm gonna make you depressed."
Yep. And
appreciate it.
With that, we'll move on to events. Ace, the next season, will return in June, probably the second week, but we'll see. We're doing a hero battle royale for as long as we get at least 20 players or more, so probably 2 weeks, and then we'll return to normal. Or maybe I'll run both at once. We'll see. If you're still looking for a pre-release in Texas, all the information is on alteredcorner.com. If you're listening to this on Tuesday when it comes out, it might be a little late, but you can still check what events are happening. And AQZ and AWOL are both on a little bit of a hiatus, but returning in June. And the NUC, the No Unique Championship, is actually joining forces with AQZ. So it will still be running, but with more hands to help run it. And those are events I'm going to pre-release tomorrow. Super stoked. I think both Felix and Dexter are busy tomorrow. Or Felix, are you going tomorrow?
Not me.
Oh, R.I.P.
I'm pretty occupied Saturday.
I will let everyone know how it goes, and then
good luck.
Today's Patreon question is from someone named Felix.
Ooh,
what's
that's interesting? That's different.
What's the cast's favorite lore tidbit so far?
Little match girl.
Oh my gosh, this is the worst one. This is awful.
It's definitely dark, that's for sure.
I liked Paper Herald. Paper Herald's cool. How that's like an actual like messenger that you like fold up and do a rune to make it alive, and then it sends an actual message.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Interesting.
Paper Herald is pretty
Isn't that just the
good.
telegrams from Harry Potter?
We don't.
No, those were owls in Harry Potter.
No, they had flying letters. Well, the letters talked. Yeah, the owls delivered it, but the letters talked.
Yeah, they had those screaming whatever the hell when your parents were mad at you.
Yeah.
I like the Magpin Hoarders.
Yeah, Magpin Hoarder was pretty good.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a good laugh after that one.
If we're going off of our favorite that we've done, I think Silas was really good because it intertwined multiple stories. But my personal favorite is probably Nevenka's. She's just silly, and it was an interesting story. So,
Thank you, Felix.
yeah,
Thanks, Felix.
Yay.
All right,
And
I guess
that's it.
You're welcome.
That does it for this week. Thank you all for tuning in. I don't know what we're doing next week. Do we get any new cool stuff from? I guess you guys will always have pre-release by next week, right?
Talk about the rules update and pre-release. Yep.
You guys,
I'll be off for the next 3 weeks.
What are you
in the
doing?
Netherlands.
Netherlands.
In the Netherlands.
They don't have computers in the Netherlands?
Nope.
Well,
only volcanoes.
If I do that, I'll be like in 2 or 3 in the morning.
Oh, yeah, that is. I forgot there's a time difference.
Yep.
I'll be checking out what the altar scene looks like over there.
Oh, that'll be kind of cool when you get back. Yeah. You can tell us what that looks like.
Sadly, we leave a week before their qualifiers start.
Oh, really? That sucks.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of cool to participate in that while you're over there.
Probably get destroyed.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. I haven't been to one. I'm still... right now I'm going to Baltimore. I'm just trying to figure out if I can get to a Texas to meet up with all you crazy
That'd
guys. Cool. So... But that's going to do it for us this week. We'll see you all next week.
Later, Tolarian skaters.